Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. All over the country this week, regular people are mobilizing against Donald Trump and his administration's overreach, both against his reckless, destructive efforts to detain law-abiding, peaceful neighbors in communities across the country, and also his decision, under dubious legal authority, to mobilize the National Guard and the Marines against peaceful demonstrators. Today, we are seeing folks taking the streets, demonstrating against what is happening in this country, from Los Angeles to New York, El Paso to Raleigh.
What makes it really tough for these sons of bitches to pull this kind of stuff off is if it looks like they are attacking peaceful protesters. Nothing makes it more difficult for them if they have to do that. So I'm going to curse more because I dare them to demonetize me. That's where we're at. And I'm going to need to curse because I'm really pissed off. So, let me start by getting this off of my chest, okay? Look, what's been going on in Los Angeles is fascism. It is clear, unabated, full force fascism. It's being conducted by Donald Trump, likely to hide the news that he and little Elon Musk got in a fight, and Elon said that he should be impeached because Pooty Poot didn't have the time to go riding on a horse with his boobs hanging down again and decided to put in the order that Musk and Trump got in a fight. Do I know that? No, but I know he controls both of them. I know that he offered Elon asylum after he got in a fight with Trump. I know that he, came out with Musk and has had numerous private conversations like the ones Trump had when he kicked the translators out. And Trump has failed him. You have failed me, Lord Vader. Yeah, he has failed him. Trump couldn't stop his one job. He had one job for Putin to help elect him, and that was for him to deliver Ukraine. Can't do it, though. Can't do it. I mean, that's the one thing they changed in the 2016 platform. They talked about it, I don't know how many times. Paul Manafort, obviously, went to jail, connections to Ukraine, worked there for the Putin puppet. We can go on and on. You guys know all of the Trump and Russia connections. Like, Trump has more connections to Russia than he does to America by a lot. Well, Elon Musk more and more too, right? He's tied to Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel owns Rumble. The Russians have invested in that. They are pushing right-wing propaganda and on the far left to try to divide this country to ensure we can never elect a sane leader again and we destroy ourselves from within. And so far, we're doing a pretty good job, even though we're fighting back. But I'm going to tell you today how the fuck to fight back against these sons of bitches that are destroying a country I love, because there are ways we can do it. But know where this is coming from. Know that this was unnecessary, ridiculous.
Say a few words about the events of the last few days. This past weekend, federal agents conducted large-scale workplace raids in and around Los Angeles. Those raids continue as I speak. California is no stranger to immigration enforcement, but instead of focusing on undocumented immigrants with serious criminal records and people with final deportation orders, a strategy both parties have long supported, this administration is pushing mass deportations.
Yes, Donald Trump has come in like the sleazy little Jabba the Hutt scumbag he is and decided he needed to change the news because he tripped his fucking ass over trying to climb up on an airplane because he's 112 years old and has the mind of congealed cheese from 2 weeks ago. He didn't want that in the news. He didn't want in the news that Elon Musk was taunting him, insulting him, saying that he should be impeached. And again, Vladimir Putin didn't want any of this shit in the news because he's pretty embarrassed right now, too. Trump was supposed to get rid of Zelensky, but guess what Zelensky did? Zelensky pulled off a $47,000 put drones in trucks, fool stupid Russian goofs like Putin, who's supposed to be smart from being in the KGB or something, and send them in and blow up over 40 Russian planes used to murder women and children, places like Kiev and other parts of Ukraine. That's what happened. And so Putin wants the narration changed. Elon Musk probably does too, being that he brought up the Jeffrey Epstein thing, and we can get more deep into that too. But of course, what happened? That tweet magically disappeared. Why? Why would Elon do that? Did he get orders from the headquarters out in the Kremlin? And why did Trump do this? Same thing. Again, change the narrative. It's hard to cover dumbass falling over on a plane, and it's hard to cover his little squabble with his little incel billionaire friend, and let's call him an incellionaire, if you will, when we've got flashbang grenades blowing up. So
what's happening right now is very different than anything we've seen before. On Saturday morning, when federal agents jumped out of an unmarked van near a Home Depot
Unmarked
parking lot,
van.
they began grabbing
Fascism.
people, a deliberate targeting of a heavily Latino suburb. A similar scene played out when a clothing company was raided downtown. In other actions, a U.S. citizen, 9 months pregnant, was arrested. A 4-year-old
She was
girl
beaten too,
taken,
by the way.
families separated, friends quite literally disappearing. In response, everyday Angelenos came out to exercise their constitutional right
Yeah,
to
we still
free
have
speech
First
and
and
assembly,
Amendment
to
rights and
protest
Fourth
their
Amendment
government's
rights.
actions. In turn, the state of California and the city and county of Los Angeles sent our police officers to help keep the peace. And with some exceptions, they were successful. Like many states, California is no
Here comes the key
stranger
part,
to this sort of
and
unrest.
we're going to tell you how to
We
prevent
manage
this.
it regularly and with our own law enforcement. But this, again, was different. What then ensued was the use of tear gas, flashbang grenades, rubber bullets, federal agents detaining people and undermining their due process rights. Donald Trump, without consulting California law enforcement leaders, commandeered 2,000 of our state's National Guard members to deploy on our streets, illegally and for no reason. This brazen abuse of power by a sitting president inflamed a combustible situation.
So let's talk about that, because that's what's key here. Donald Trump wanted this fight. He wanted a combustible situation. He wanted there to be destruction in Los Angeles. He wanted there to be headlines. He wanted to show how tough he was. He's feeling weak after falling over and getting his ass kicked by his fellow incellionaire. So what's the end result of that? The people of Los Angeles have to suffer. And of course, it's L.A. He hates L.A. They hate California. It's catnip for, you're missing the left part of your cerebrum, part of the MAGA brain. They just love it, right? When you can go into California, a 4-year-old girl, think about that, folks. A 4-year-old girl is pulled out of a classroom. A pregnant woman is beaten as she's arrested. She's an American citizen too. Australian reporter, a reporter. And the difference is Australian reporters are actually real reporters telling the truth. You can see in the video, I put a video out about it, the guy, the LAPD guy who literally looks like he's in the middle of a war zone. I mean, this isn't just normal LAPD. This is jacked up, armored LAPD, turns towards her and shoots her in the leg with a rubber bullet. There's literally nothing that could have been accidental about that at all, okay? Unless this man obviously shoots like Donald Trump eats. So we have all this going on, all this insanity, and none of it was necessary. None. California handles this. New York handles this. All sorts of places handle this. They handle unrest. Remember, there's a time Republicans said they were for states' rights and local rights. You may remember that. It was a long time ago, or maybe last week when they were lying about shit again. But here is how you stop the sons of bitches. First of all, I'm worried about people's personal safety. This was the kind of advice that was given after Kent State, not that far north of here, a couple hours in Ohio from where I live. Okay, I want to make sure to put this in here so people know. What makes it really tough for these sons of bitches to pull this kind of stuff off is if it looks like they are attacking peaceful protesters. Nothing makes it more difficult for them if they have to do that. They need to do whatever they can to make it look like it is the fault of those who are out there. And that is, of course, what they're trying to do, and that's how it's being reported. So here you go. Sit down. Ooh, look at that. I'm hearing from David. I'll get back to him. David, I have a presentation. 1 minute. So, what's the deal? Well, what you have is for people, they should just mass sit down. Just sit down. There's a reason sit-ins work. Everyone in Los Angeles sit down and make the sons of bitches lift you up, make them drag you, make them throw you into a truck. It becomes quite obvious to people. This is the kinds of things that Martin Luther King did, Gandhi. It makes it very obvious who the offenders are. If you're up there and you're throwing stuff, I understand I would want to throw things at these cars too. But if you do it, you're breaking the law. And you in the end, you're helping the other side win the propaganda war, which is what they're fighting right now. Putin, Trump, Elon, a whole bunch of them. So please sit there, take care of yourself, have a martini, Have some good tequila, in fact, my Mexican friends. Casa Amigos, my favorite. You probably know even better stuff. Do it. All right. Second of all, what you need to do from this is we need other governors to step up the way Gavin Newsom just did. Gavin Newsom's made mistakes. We've criticized him here for it. Maybe now we won't ever have Charlie Kirk back on a podcast. I'm not going to hold it against him. What he's done in that moment, we needed a leader, we needed a voice, and he stood up. And we need to look at people as total humans. He was great there. I want J.B. Pritzker to stand up. Okay. I want Hochul to stand up. I want numerous, especially big states with large Latino populations. But imagine right now if governors and mayors across the country stood up and made speeches just like his. Local news would cover all of them. All you have to do is insult the 34 count convict Donald Trump. Yes, call him that every time. When he says we're going in and get criminals, you ask him, why aren't you going after yourself? When he says, oh, the criminals and rapists that come in here, well, you're an adjudicated rapist and you're a criminal. Remind people, why do Democrats not do that every time? He's a fucking criminal. And the only reason he's not in a cell is because he got elected president by stupid people, all right? So that he can attack my country and your country. But I want to see Pritzker's been amazing. Hochul, not so much. You know what? Fine. Get up. Get up and make speeches. Mayors of major cities. Now's your moment, all right? I hope I see the same here in Cincinnati. We've got a great mayor, Aftab Purval, who's, part, I believe, Indian American, Tibetan. He's the kind of person that'd be perfect to get up and tell them we have things under control. We have local control. Stay the fuck out of our city. You don't have to put it like that because little Donald's penis will shrivel up if you do like Stormy said it did. So put it in a way he can understand and say, stay out. We don't need you in here inciting riot, causing violence. That's the second thing you can do. And we would have not only press covering us for a couple days in a row if they were to start this tomorrow, but it would show the kind of strength and resolve that, guess what, people like, that disaffected Republicans, that independents, and yes, Democrats want to see. And finally, the final thing I want to say on this, and I've talked about this before. Last week we had Malcolm Nance. We need the biggest No Kings rally on Saturday in the history of No Kings rallies, which should be easy because there's never been a No Kings rally before. But I'm talking about in terms of all rallies. I've talked about this on other shows. We got 5 million people, 5 million to come out for those two former protests, which is great. But in Belgrade, against Vucic or whatever his stupid name is, a little fascist, 1/6 of the Serbian population came out. 20 million Americans would be half that. It would be about a 12th of the American population. I want 20 million Americans to go out. I'm going to go out to my local one with my family here in Cincinnati. All of you. I'm going to be spreading this message. Go out for No King's Day. Respond. It's Donald Trump's little birthday where he's going to feel like he's great. Make him the nothing that he is. Respond.